All right, fastest 15 minutes on the internet, fastest 15 minutes in social media. And my name is Judson Powell. And I'm full of coffee, so I'm kind of jittery. Help me. Anyway, so yesterday and the day before, we've been having this debate about is the United States, and don't say America because America is huge. America has South America, Central America, and North America, including countries like Brazil, and which is very racist, like Canada, which is also low key racist or whatever, and then the United States. So the United States is not North America. All right. It is North America, but it's not America. So stop making that mistake. All right. So anyway, the United States, according to South Carolina Representative Tim Scott, is not a racist country. And of course, Scott is a black man, and which is I guess it kind of bolsters his argument because for a black man to be a senator from South Carolina, the state that that actually started the Civil War and succeeded from the Union. They were I think if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, I don't remember all my history because I'm so old, but they got out. They left the United States. So we know that that's true. I also lived there for many years as a political prisoner. And so, but in order to get this backed up, we have Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, who came out and said that he was telling the truth, that the United States is not a racist country. Now, I get all of this. I get it and I don't get it. Okay, here's what I get. I get that the vice president, I can understand the vice president saying that because anything that, that the president or the vice president says is going to be construed on a world stage. It's not going to just be, it's not just going to be taken by us. It's going to be taken by countries all around the world as a mantra for the United States. Well, we don't really want to do that. We really don't want to do that because here's the thing: we got, as y'all young folks say, we got receipts. So a country that was founded on slavery, still in the Constitution, you can go right now to any library. You can pull up any document online. You can do whatever you want to do, but you can still pull it up, and you can find out that the Constitution still says that black folks are only 3/5 of a human being. So how can you say that this country is not a racist country? That's just one. And then the next thing is 260 years of slavery, of actual slavery, lynchings, just a whole bunch of stuff, and all of it designed, inadequate school systems, inadequate jail systems, mass incarceration, Jim Crow, and currently the voter suppression bills that are being pushed in legislatures. As a matter of fact, Florida just passed a voter suppression law under the table while everybody wasn't looking. See, that's why I keep telling y'all got to stay on top of all of this stuff because it's going down. But to say that the United States is not a racist country is a real stretch. It's a stretch. And like I said, I kind of can excuse Kamala, but Tim Scott, I can't excuse you at all, bro. Come on, son. Really? It's not. You're going to tell me that after everything that's been done to Africans, African Americans, black folks, whatever you want to call us, right? We don't even have a name technically, but you want to sit up there and say that it's not a racist country. Then we talk about all of these all of these police brutality cases, they threw a couple, they threw a couple Mexicans in, just a splash of brown because it was getting too black. Then they beating up older people. That's another thing. Why in the world are the police? The police are just out of control. I saw like a 73-year-old and a 91-year-old, like they arrested and beat them up. Really? For what? Why? And they, they had and a guy that was on, I'm just reading that, on a skateboard. So you're gonna kill somebody over skateboard? Really? I mean, really? And a 16-year-old little girl. Although yes, she had a knife, but she's 16. Y'all got a man handcuffed. Y'all step on his neck and kill him, and he's already handcuffed. What are y'all concerned with? What are you concerned with? I'm asking. I think that's a legitimate question. What are they so concerned with? And these people that they're training to be police officers, they got the worst. They got to have the worst training in the world. So you mean to tell me you gotta train longer and harder just to be? And this is also racism. Just to have an occupation like insurance person, or a real estate person, or a lawyer, or I can understand the doctor thing. The doctor thing that I can understand because it's a lot of technical stuff that you need to know, that you need to know about the functions of the body. But all these other things, you got all of these licensing and other requirements. You got to go back for continuing education and Even when I was coming up in radio, you had to have a license to broadcast in radio, a third class license with a broadcast endorsement in order to just be on the radio. Yeah. And why was all of this? That was so that they could keep you out of the loop. They wanted to be able to. They had to have a way to keep you out of the loop. And see, now it's gone to the phase that big cities went to in the 70s and 80s. In the 70s and 80s, there started being a lot of black mayors. And why? Because white folks had moved out. It's white flight. They left. And you mean to tell me that the United States ain't racist? They left the major cities because they didn't want them anymore. And they created brand new cities that we called suburbs, suburban areas. And you can look all this stuff up. If I'm lying, then go on my inbox and be like, look, you lying. Judson, you lie. But that's not the case because a lot of this stuff I lived through. Look, well, I ain't gonna tell that story. I got a good white flight story that happened right on my street. Because when we first moved into our neighborhood in Detroit, it was all white, pretty much. And then my daddy and the other guy that lived down the street, they were executives at Ford, right? And as soon as them Caucasians saw that that their daughters were being talked to and played with by little black kids, it ended quick. So I'm just telling you, don't get the game twisted. And there's a lot of places in the world that are just as racist, but it's just something that's swept under the rug and nobody ever says it out loud. And in this case, we don't have to say it out loud. Why don't we have to say it out loud? Because the proof is in the pudding, right? The proof, you ain't got to say nothing to say that the United States is racist. You ain't got to say that out loud because everybody can see it. In fact, we wouldn't even be having these conversations and these debates if there was no such thing as racism, if there was no racism in the United States of America, We wouldn't be having these discussions. We wouldn't have to have a Black Lives Matter. We wouldn't have to even have an All Lives Matter, for that matter. We wouldn't have to have a Asian discrimination. And that's another thing. Okay, so Kamala, let me, Madam Vice President, let me ask you, then why did y'all sign that, why did y'all promote and sign that anti-Asian discrimination law just recently? Why is there, discrimination laws on the books? And that's the other thing I wanted to tell black folks. Black folks are, they signed this thing for the Asians. Well, there've been laws on the books, anti-discrimination laws against black folks on the books for forever. But guess what? They don't enforce them. They don't enforce them. That's why. And until recently, and if you notice, now that we have a real president and we have real people, you start to see a lot of these people, a lot of these counties and states and everything else. What's going on? They're having to answer to the Justice Department. See, we haven't really had a real attorney general that was really doing their job. The attorney general's job is that if the local governments don't do what they're supposed to do as far as enforcing laws, then the attorney general of the United States is supposed to step in, and they're supposed to use the federal laws in order to give these people justice. So that's a good thing. They're actually investigating Breonna Taylor's death, and they're actually investigating the way that the Louisville, Kentucky Police Department has done business over the last 4 years while we had a non-president. Y'all can see, that's why you don't realize how far this whole thing goes. And when we have people in power that don't care about the people, but all they care about is their money and their, what's my tax bracket. It's like, and y'all making billion, and literally it's shown that they're making, during the pandemic and also during Trump's administration, they made billions. And then and in the meantime, everybody else is getting poor, and they've literally put the entire country on welfare. They have literally put the entire country on welfare. Because without those stimulus checks, and those aren't even really it, and now they're even talking about having a monthly stimulus check for a couple of years. But knowing good and well, and now people don't want to go back to work. People are afraid because of the way that the Trump administration handled the whole pandemic. And now we're seeing what happened in India. We're seeing what's going on in Brazil. All these places, and see, is not making the news cycle because it's not popular. And that's the thing. They're starting to talk a little bit more about India. But they don't have any oxygen. They can't make oxygen fast enough. They can't do anything. All they can do is let these people die and cremate them. That's it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's like, okay, so, but this is not, it has nothing to do with racism. It just has to do with what? So y'all, man, and let's not talk about the 400-year head start, but y'all don't want to give us reparations? 400-year head start. Y'all made all y'all money off of the backs of our people, but yet still you don't even want to sit down at the table. And finally, there are things starting to move about reparations, but nobody wants to talk about it. Nobody in the upper echelons of the government wants to really talk about it. Not even the president. Biden don't want to talk about it, and I'm not saying I voted for Biden and Harris, but now it's time to be accountable. And I think that's what, everybody is on Dr. Umar Johnson, but it's like, look, he's right. Time for accountability. We put you in office and we'll take you out of office. Know the power of your vote. And that's why you got to vote. All right? That's why you got to vote. And that's why you got to continue to vote. Fastest 15 minutes is up. My name is Justin Powell. Like button, subscribe button, notification buttons. Anyway, hit the love button. I love you all.